Welcome, friends. Let us together rebuild this world so that we may live, laugh, and lore.
I was going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
I can bring you in warm, or I can bring you in cold.
Not listening. I'm not listening.
Oh, that took.
Program loaded and ready.
Make it so.
Welcome to the Live, Laugh, Lore podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Tony.
And I'm Mark.
And today, we're going back to the basics, Mark.
Yep.
It's been a while. It's been a while since I first saw... No, it's been a while, though, since we've had a What If. Mm-hmm. Kind of getting back to it, we thought, what's home base? What's a really nice What Ifs? And I think you as well, we've really enjoyed What Ifs, but I've really enjoyed the Lord of the Rings
Me
one.
too.
I don't know what it is. I think maybe it's just because there's so much, there's not like an EU to it, right?
Right.
Marvel, Star Wars, even Star Trek, there's so much like crazy amount of content, but Lord of the Rings gives you so much, yet there's so much for interpretation there.
Exactly. So we can build, even though the world's already built, we, in our own minds, we can make headcanon for days.
Oh, yeah, and I love it. And, hey, that's where we are.
Yep.
So we're going to do a What If today. This is going to be, what if Boromir gets the ring?
Yes.
Now, there's a caveat to this, and we'll talk about this right away. When we wrote in our show notes that, hey, it's going to be Boromir gets the ring, we both kind of sat there and were like, whoa, what point, right?
Yeah.
Was it Council of Elrond? Was it right before the battle with Lurtz? You know, when Frodo is gathering firewood and Boromir kind of comes up on him and...
On Amon Hen. I had to look that up.
Is it Amon Hen? Okay,
the peak of Amon Hen.
Really? Okay. We actually saw that in New Zealand. Now I can be insufferable even in the podcast. You know, we saw that, we saw the river. That's where they did all the boats. I don't know if Amon Hen and the river were technically in the same filming location, but the river at least we saw. That's where, everything like that. So super a lot of fun. But so kind of without further ado, let's just jump right in the What If. But before I do that, really quick, Mark, I sent you a text message today. Yeah. Do you remember what the text message was? 13 years.
13 years, for the two-time.
So it was always a big joke between us. So myself, Mark, Jenna, and then Paul, which is so funny. Now they're guests on the podcast. So we can just say them by first name. Yeah. Everyone should know the Mossing lore now.
Exactly.
We're building slowly up the Mossing lore. But yeah, so we have a Harry Potter trivia game where we go as Trivial Pursuit Harry Potter, and we play that a bunch. But before we started that was just with our group. Way back when, this was when the Deathly Hallows Part 1, maybe 2, was out. I can't remember which one it was. But we were in high school. I was in high school. Mm-hmm. You're still in high school, too. But the whole point was that we were in high school, and we went to the midnight showing.
Yes.
And they had grand prizes for the theater for someone who answered the trivia question. Uh-huh. And it was 2 trivia questions that they gave to both theaters, because there's 2 theaters showing the midnight showing of the movie. And our theater was the first one, and they gave us how many house points did, I think it's Hufflepuff.
It was
Hufflepuff score in the first movie. And you could be off by 10. And I can't remember. I either said 426 or 436. And by the way, this is 13 years ago. I might be completely wrong now, and I was way into it then. But I got it right. And so I got that one. And then the other movie theater attendant, person who works at the movie theater, came into our theater and was like, hey, this other theater couldn't get it. We gave them 10 tries. I'm wondering if anyone else can get this. How many seats were there at the Quidditch World Cup? And, waiting around, we were on like 4 or 5 guesses deep. And I was like, dude, I know this, but I can't, give other people a chance. Yeah. And then finally he's like, I don't know. It doesn't seem like anyone else knows this. So I raised my hand, shot out 100,000. So I won both the grand prizes. So it was always a joke that I was like, I'm the two-time.
The two-time.
Back to back.
Same night.
Same night.
Minutes apart.
And that was like in high school where you have $0 and 0 cents. So I got 2 free movie tickets, a popcorn, and like sodas. Yeah, or pops.
That's gold.
For it.
That's gold in high school.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I didn't have any ladies to bring it with me, but you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I had 2 nonetheless.
You say that because I still actually have a pair of movie tickets that I won at the senior prom. And I just found them the other day so I'm like, I got to go see if these are still...
So I found my old wallet upstairs, and I opened it up, and I found like where they were, but I don't know if it was a friction or what, but it was like rubbed raw. Like literally there's no ink left on it. So I don't know if it was printed on really crappy paper or what. Yeah. But it does say at the very bottom, like, the Toledo movie theater. I can't remember what it's called.
Franklin
now.
Franklin
Park. Thank you.
Yeah.
But sorry, that was a big deviation.
Big tangent.
But
yeah.
I thought it was so funny because 13 years ago I put on Facebook and I said that I won both the grand prizes. So I wanted Mark just to relive it. Now reliving it on the podcast, which in perpetuity, whenever he listens back to this, he'll know that I'm the 2-time.
Yes. Yeah.
Even though I don't want to bring this up, Mark has won most of our Trivial Pursuit.
I believe
games.
the term you're looking for is dominated, Tony.
I don't know if that's the term. I would say tactically acquired.
I feel kind of bad. The last time we played, I was kind of preparing dinner for some friends while playing, and I still just kind of wrecked things up.
Yeah.
I came in hot. I just came in.
I think you're like 6 out of 8, 6 out of 10. So this is definitely maybe we'll whenever we do it, we'll post it on our Instagram how many wins. We'll post the box, at least the box art. But so we're back to it. So what ifs? Boromir gets the ring.
Yes.
What is this looking like? And I think the first one we should probably go down is let's go down the Rivendell route.
It happens first, right?
Yeah. And I think the other thing, too, definitely interrupt me whenever you have the chance, because I think the big thing I was looking at is there's 2 different start points, but I think eventually they get into like one causal point where it'll kind of be like the rest of that. So maybe when we get to that like weird point, we can kind of just address, hey, this is what happens here, this is what happens here. But eventually I think they all bleed into one timeline.
Yeah.
And we can go into that one timeline in a bit. But so let's first kind of go down Rivendell. I'm not going to lie. I don't know how they do the bureaucracy here, right? I think this is the one time where, especially in this what if, we just say, hey, they agreed to give it to Boromir.
Yeah, because obviously Gandalf, Aragorn, no one is in favor of Gondor getting the ring, right?
No.
So we just have to assume, for whatever reason, Elrond, Gandalf, they all say yes. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
That's just the assumption that we're making here. Because otherwise, we don't have a what if.
Yeah, and I think the only thing that I kind of saw out of it was even like the bureaucracy of it. It's like Frodo never ponied up to even get the ring. So I'm even going one step further. Like the hobbits are not even involved if they do this one. Because that means like Frodo had never said, hey, I'll be the ring bearer. There's a lot of dissonance. That arguing kept going. And then basically they're like, hey, we need to get this to, Mordor. Closest spot is going to be Gondor. Let's do an envoy to Gondor.
Yes.
And I think it's kind of that political side working out. Because if Frodo never ponied up and was like, hey, I'll take the ring, I don't think Pippin, Merry, Sam, I don't think the whole crew would have came.
No, they all would have just went back to the Shire.
Because that was the plan.
Yeah.
So I think, and sorry if I've already deviated from your notes, but I really think that would have most likely happened, right?
I agree with you. Yeah, the hobbits are not involved. I would say everything's happened as it does.
Point.
Yeah, so like they're there at Rivendell, but then Frodo's like, he decides not to take it. He stays in bed, and him and the 4, they leave back on their journey.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we have to assume that.
I think that's.
I mean, you can have them in there, but they're irrelevant. I mean, they're
too difficult.
They get in the way.
Yeah, it gets too difficult. Yeah. I think it's just going to bog us down.
Yeah, because the hobbits are not in my notes at all.
Okay, great. Okay, yeah. They were going to be if the other one, but yeah. But for this one, for me, I think the hobbits are not there. I also think that this is going to divide the council in a very interesting way. It's going to really go to show you that the elves are piecing out. They're saying, hey, I'm outie. This is it.
Well, I think the dwarves, too. I think it's really, they were like, well, we're just going to let the men handle it.
Yep. We're going to say, the race of men, you got it. Good luck.
Yes.
Because
also, quick caveat.
Oh, yeah.
When we say men here, it's in Lord of the Rings, it's the race of men. We're not talking about only men, right?
Humans.
Yeah.
Sadly, everyone has to lay in that bed. You know what I mean? Because here's the thing. If we said, that's even worse. These people are probably doomed. So in reality, take it for what you will. But no, I totally agree. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, whenever say men, race of men, humanity as a whole. So truly, I think the elves are piecing out hard.
Yep.
I think they're going to say, hey, not great. I also think other bands of elves are going to equally be with Elrond and company, right? Meaning, I think Galadriel is going to see the writing on the wall, especially. I think she's going to go, wow, we're way past it, right? It was even hanging by a thread when, Frodo was doing it. So I think it's going to kind of bleed into the elves are out.
Well, because they've seen men fall before.
Yeah.
The reason they could give Frodo a chance is because
they don't know.
They don't know. They haven't seen halflings be corrupted yet.
Mm-hmm.
they're the only ones they haven't seen being corrupted yet.
Yeah. And I think Frodo already has some real street cred. Mm-hmm. Like, I think they're like, yo, this guy got stabbed in the shoulder.
Yeah. Plus, they already know Bilbo.
They already know Bilbo.
Well, at least the elves know Bilbo.
Yeah.
Well, the dwarves do. The dwarves know Bilbo, too. Some of them.
He's also...
Gloin. Gloin was there.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah. And he's also infamous for some of the elves, like the Mirkwood elves with Legolas.
Yeah.
Because they're like, that's a freaking burglar. Yeah. So I think there is some shroud of mystery behind these halfling, these half folk. So I think without them, it's going to go pretty south pretty quick.
Yeah.
I also think that not only are the elves going to peace out, I think the dwarfs are equally just going to kind of hunker down. But even more so, let's talk about the race of men. I think already there's very strong divisions between Rohan and Gondor, right? This is a
Where
big...
was Gondor when the Westfold fell?
Dude, don't even get my blood pressure raised, baby. Yeah. I'll say the whole
Gondor?
Where was Gondor? At the Attack of the Hornburg. I can do the whole speech.
Yeah.
But so the point is that I think this is going to further divide men because they're going to look at this and go, whoa. Why are you giving it to Gondor?
Yeah.
And by the way, that's another point. I thought back this. Did Rohan even have delegates at the Council of Elrond?
No, because Gondor is the capital of the
men. Yeah. Yeah, I just thought that was kind of interesting. You think they would give some kind of ambassador,
at least
right?
not in the movie. I can't say for the book. I cannot remember.
Okay,
but definitely not in the movie.
Yeah, I don't remember them
Boromir
mentioned.
and that was his crew. That was it. That was the only one that went.
I think what we're going to end up inevitably seeing is we're going to see this even greater divide between the race of men, between the race specifically. But the point I'm seeing is that there's kind of two schools of thoughts. Because they're going to go with the ring. We've got the heirloom, Isildur's Bane. I think they're just going to freaking hunker down because they're going to do exactly what Boromir said. Boromir is effectively the lead general. He is the captain of the Citadel. Like, he's going to come in and say, hey, this is a gift. This is a weapon. We should be using it for us. And I think it's going to...
Well, yeah. So I think you're right. And he's going to use it as a weapon. I think he gives it to his father.
Denethor, 1,000%.
Who becomes even more corrupt than he is. I see Denethor... after he has the ring, declaring himself king of Gondor. He's like, I have the ring of power. What is stopping me from being king?
This is the sign that my lineage is no longer stewards.
Yeah, we are the king. Yeah. We are the rulers of men.
And I think just a cool cinematic moment, the second that Denethor receives the ring, I think the last leaf on the White Tree of Gondor falls. Total corruption.
That would be cool.
Lights out.
Perfect.
Oh, that would be so cool. That'd be so cool. Sorry. I think that would be...
end of movie 1.
Yeah, end of movie 1, right?
The Lord of the Rings, the fall of Gondor.
Yeah, fall of man. Boom. But yeah, so I think that's going to happen. So now we're kind of bleeding into where I think the two lines are meeting. Do you have any other points on kind of like the Council of Elrond? There's a lot more what I want to say when the men get the ring, but I think since the men have the ring, that's going to affect a lot of things. You kind of see what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I agree. I have more thoughts post this. I don't think there's anything else to add. That okay
on the Council of Elrond. You don't have anything else. Okay,
like we said, we can't. We just have to assume they all agree. And that the elves and the dwarves peace out.
Mm-hmm. I think so. I think they have to
for now.
Because that was another thing. Like when you really think about it, dwarves just join because they're super petty. Gimli literally says, no one trusts an elf. So he goes, if an elf's going to do it,
then I'm going to be here as well.
Yeah. So there's a level of interest there. Then also the dwarves are spread thin because we saw in the Hobbits, the Battle of the Five Armies, like a lot of just the city of Dale and the defense and everything like that. I think that took a lot out of the dwarves, right?
It did.
Granted, it also took a lot of the Mirkwood elves, but that's why you don't see them as big power players in the Lord of the Rings. I think they're still kind of recouping from all that. So.
For sure.
No, but so let's move over to the Battle Before Lurtz. Just to set the scene for everybody, this is kind of just a momentous moment for the character building, right? I love this part of the show, even though you feel so bad for Boromir, but you gotta love it because they've been traveling for days. It's just been pure frustrations because all of his ideas are getting shot down. Mm-hmm. He's looking at this, getting so infuriated. He's like, can you imagine at work if one of that someone from a different department comes in and says you should solve this problem this way?
Yeah.
And then everyone's like, oh, your management's like, yes, you need to solve it exactly that way. But now you're still in charge of the program, or at least a portion of the program, and you got to keep going with this idea that you don't 100% agree with. And of course, that idea is going to take you to the wilderness. It's going to take you to all this stuff. Now that work analogy deviates, right? But my point is that the frustrations is so clear that it's building up. It also is clear that the ring is poisoning the minds around it because it's hoping for something exactly like this to happen.
Right.
It is hoping that
It wants someone else, someone weaker,
exactly
to take him.
And I think this Boromir guy is it. So I just to set the scene for the audience this is the moment where Boromir is out gathering wood for the company.
And Frodo's wandering.
Yeah, I think Frodo's just wandering, kind of debating on everything.
Clearing his head.
Exactly. This Galadriel just dropped a huge bomb on him, like, oh my gosh, like, if I don't succeed in this, the Shire will fall. Yeah. And this is where it's hitting home. Like, this has always been someone else's battle, but she's literally telling him, no, this will affect you, your land personally, if you don't accept. Right? You're the last hope for us. And I think that is going to fundamentally not harm him, but make him very pensive, so he has to go on these walkings. But the whole point is that he goes on this walk, Boromir comes in, and then Boromir kind of lets out his frustrations a little bit. He's going to say, what the heck are you doing? And then as he's letting his frustrations out, the ring's corruption is coming more in, and that's where we get the crazy good scene of, he's just saying, like, morally good things, but executing them in a bad way. Like, I'm just here to protect my people. No one understands the suffering of men.
Right.
You're listening to the Council of Elrond. You don't get it. You've never seen us. You're judging us based on all of our actions.
The Shire's been tucked away in this part of the world forever and doesn't understand the real world problems.
Yes.
Is what he's saying.
Yeah, and all this other stuff. And it's just a huge, great speech. Sean Bean does a fantastic job. And then the scene ends with Frodo putting on the ring, trying to avoid Boromir, kicks him away, and then runs off.
Yeah.
I think.
And then Boromir realizes what he's done, and
yeah, he's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Frodo. This is a moment of weakness." You know, everything like that. I think we go right before this, and let's just say Frodo in that moment, whether it's the ring corruption, whether it's the just unbelievable task of saying you have to do what's right. By the way, Galadriel doesn't even tell him what was right. She says you have to do your journey. Yeah, doesn't explain the destination. So maybe in his mind, he's going, oh my gosh, my journey is just like relinquishing this ring. I'm just saying it. I'm not saying,
I agree.
But I'm just trying to make it so Frodo as a character, it's believable why he would give it to Gondor, right? Because he just saw his own home fall. And I think that might emotionally change him.
He's like, I can't do it.
Yep.
Gondor may be the best option to save my people.
Yep. You want to save your people. I want to save my people. You seem much more higher in fortitude, everything like that.
Stronger than me. Yeah, it seems the best option.
I think this is where we get really interesting results. Mm-hmm. The council agreeing to it, that's tougher, but, hey, this is just the output. This is what happens. Boromir getting the ring from Frodo like that, I think it's going to rub a lot of people the wrong way.
Oh, big time.
Gandalf especially.
Aragorn's
a big one. I think this is like the worst move that Frodo could possibly do. Yeah. Because it is going to just divide not only the Fellowship, but it's going to divide all these other races. Yep. I think they're going to look at this and go, the elves and, of course, dwarves are going to say, well, I want to protect my people. Why? And you said this fortitude of man, like, why are you giving it to him? He literally, just by what you've seen, he's been the most unstable out of all of us, you know? Like, this is walking on freaking snow. Surely when you see that, you're like, dude, this guy probably has some good, constitution in him. He probably can take the ring. I don't know. Right. So, do you have any notes on that? I got a lot more, but I feel like I've been talking a little bit.
No, I've got some notes. So, like, I think, when he gets the ring, I think he uses it. He survives the battle of Lurtz. He uses it and defeats Lurtz, I think, in that scenario.
Oh, so he's still with the Fellowship.
Well, I mean, they didn't have time to discuss anything because the Uruk-hai attack, right?
Oh, you're right. Yeah, it is pretty close.
So he survives.
Yep.
Now, someone doesn't have to die, but maybe someone does die. I think, so he lives, and now he has a hatred toward Isengard. So his number one goal when he goes back to Gondor is to destroy Isengard.
Okay, really interesting. I took this opposite because I was saying he finally has the one ring. He's now having to toil with, they just took Pippin. I think they still take Pippin and Merry. Okay. For whatever reason, I think Pippin and Merry still get taken. Because, by the way, the Uruk-hai would have relentlessly attacked until they got a halfling. Right? That was the whole shtick.
Because they got
the halflings. We have our prize. We're going to go. Yeah. I still think something like that happens. Okay. Maybe.
Well, so even if that is the case, so now Boromir he's not fully corrupted yet, but he's used the ring once, and now he's starting to get corrupted.
Yep.
But he's still got some good, and he wants to save the hobbits. So he uses the full force of Gondor to attack Isengard.
See, that's really funny. I was doing the opposite. Well, because my thought process, I literally have the note here where literally it's like, I think he looks at this and this is where his corruption, like this is where I thought like Tally won for corruption, where I think he was going to look at it and goes, why sacrifice this great gift to put it in the heart of the enemy when I can go bolster my people? What is the price of 2 halflings to the race of man? Half the race of man, effectively. And I think that was another tip to the corruption. So I like the way you take it.
Yeah.
You're giving Boromir a lot more oomph than I would have given him.
Well, my next point after that is after Isengard is defeated,
yeah.
he gets an ego through the roof.
Oh.
And now he wants to be in charge.
Yeah.
So
it's like the Prize of Osgiliath. Remember the whole scene?
Yes.
So
maybe he kills his father and then Boromir declares himself king?
Yeah, Denethor. You think? Okay, all right. I like where you're going with this.
Well, the ring makes him do crazy things.
Oh,
like
1000%.
Denethor was like it. He sees Boromir getting, because Boromir is his little boy.
Yeah.
He sees Boromir getting too power hungry. Denethor's like, "You need to slow your roll," and he goes, "I don't think you're capable of ruling anymore."
Wow.
Boom.
Okay.
And then now he's fully committed to the ring.
Yeah, I like that.
That's kind of how I saw it playing.
Dang, dude. It's so funny. Our notes are deviating hard.
Yeah.
Because my thought process was exactly, hobbits go.
Yep.
He goes, dang, that stinks. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. I'm gonna go to Gondor. At that time, I think the rest of the Fellowship will go out and they'll go help the hobbits at Orthanc, everything like that. But Isengard, that's Isengard, right? But I think the big thing is that Faramir's my boy. I got to focus on this Faramir line. I think they're going to call back the guards, or the Rangers. I can't remember their specific company, but the Rangers are going to get called back to the city.
Yes.
And I think there's going to be a huge celebration in which Denethor and Boromir are going to look at the ring, see it as a gift, and try to move forward. I think Faramir's going to be the only one, because he's family.
Yeah.
The only one on this, the Council of Men, to come in and be like, what are we doing? Because he's already given up the ring once. So I really believe...
Well, not at this point yet, but yeah.
Oh, you're correct. But I'm just saying, his character has done it. You know what I mean? So the probability, you hope it'd be pretty high that he'd do it again. But I think this is when there's going to be this weird coup of men where I think they're going to be so ingrained with this rank and kind of out of the fire into the frying pan thing.
Ah, nice.
And then, Faramir's going to recognize that, and I would hope that now we get this really cool team up with Faramir and Aragorn. The son that... Aragorn, sorry. Jeez. I've been reading Aragon, the book. My bad. Aragorn. We get this team up with Aragorn. So the whole point is that we get the son that never was, and we get the king that never was, and basically them band together and try to move forward. So I think they both go to Rohan. I think we get more Faramir. I think try to bone up, you know what I mean?
We deviated for a second, but Tony, we came right back.
Oh, really?
So my next note is that Boromir decides to attack Rohan because Theoden will not join him.
Oh.
And this is where Faramir comes in and joins the Aragorn and Theoden.
So you're going for more of the conquering.
There's a war of man.
Yeah, 1,000%, which is like, that's all they want.
Yeah.
Because I think, now let's play the war games here.
Yeah.
Let's say probabilities. I think the second that the war of man goes on, if they didn't get Orthanc or Isengard, Isengard and the forces of Mordor are going to absolutely freaking stomp the War of Men. They have to.
Oh yeah.
I think if we want to play it out as these lines where like the race of men's lost and Middle Earth's gone, I think that's exactly it. The second that Rohan and Gondor put up arms against each other and say we are fighting, it's over. It's done.
Yeah.
I think we can look at that line and say they're done.
Yeah.
Right. That's why I was hoping before they would fight. I was hoping that it would be more of like a peaceful. I don't know. I think it would corrupt him too hard.
The ring would make him fall.
The second you go to Gondor, you're done.
Yeah. It could be a Thor and Bilbo situation with Boromir and Faramir, where he's trying to help him from behind the scenes, and then he couldn't.
Oh, but you could also get the whole burglar aspect again.
Yep.
Where you don't want to copy Hobbit, but have.
And Faramir's like funneling information to Rohan or something,
Exactly. Or actually getting the ring
Yeah.
away. which I don't think they would, but now we're kind of back
he's gonna be wearing
to it.
it. Yeah, it'd be tough. It'd be really tough.
Yeah, and let's not forget Gandalf. I think Gandalf is going to try to counsel as best he can. I think Gandalf would... He's stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Yep.
Because with no ring bearer, it's hard to figure out where the ring goes, right? No matter who you give it to, you're going to get...
I'm a Radagast fan, so no matter whenever I make a line, I like Radagast to be pulled in. You know.
Okay. Well, how's Radagast pulling into this?
Is
he the ring bearer?
Well, no, Gandalf he's helping Gandalf in the war, right? So he fights with Gandalf on Rohan's side. You know.
Gotcha.
So I don't know if he doesn't necessarily have a big role. I just like him there.
No, I love it.
He's just an unused character.
Yeah,
in the movies.
No. I totally agree. There's a lot that he can do. It's just so difficult because I try to do this in some way where we're not looking at an all-out battle that is inevitably going to end in a lose. I'm trying to figure out if they can even pull a win, right? I just can't see it. Do you have any variation where the ring gets to Gondor and they still can defeat?
No.
The powers that be? I don't think.
No.
I tried to think of some. I had like this crazy coup happening too, where like now we get these crazy power dynamics and political dynamics.
Yeah.
And I think especially if Denethor dies because Boromir sees him as a adversary, I think you can get a pretty big coup in Gondor. Mm-hmm. But once again, I think it's all infighting that's going to inevitably end up with...
Yeah. Well, for that,
mess.
I kind of had it ending with the more Boromir uses the ring, the more corrupt he gets, and then he eventually becomes a Nazgul himself.
That quick?
Well, eventually, right?
Oh.
And then now, so Sauron knows Boromir has the ring, so now you just got to sit and wait, and then pretty soon you'll have control of Gondor.
Yeah, I wonder if, like, the second... Okay, so there's the only way I could see something playing out, is if it goes to Gondor, and Saruman and Sauron are looking at this and going, okay, all we gotta do is wait. They're gonna rip each other to shreds. Mm-hmm. Let's wait. So almost it's the assumptions that will kind of underpin them. That's why The Hobbit was such a great thing. They never would have suspected a halfling to carry the ring.
Yeah.
So they never would suspect, man to resolve this conflict. So I'm wondering if they either see it as too good to be true and they just wipe them out and attack them, or they're like, hey, eventually this is going to corrupt everybody. This is going to make them fall. Let's just sit down, eat some popcorn, and watch this show.
Yeah.
And if they do that, maybe there's a weird win where Gandalf gets the ring, Galadriel's there too, and Elrond. We get the whole, like, the Hobbit team up. Radagast, Gandalf, Elrond, Galadriel. And they're like, hey, as ring bearers ourselves, the lesser rings, but ring bearers nonetheless.
Yeah.
Except Radagast. Radagast doesn't have a ring. But the whole point is that of the ring bearers and, the powers that be, maybe they do a coalition. Maybe we bring Gahir. That's the, the eagle.
Mm-hmm. Yep, the leader of the Eagles.
And then we finally see they just drop the ring.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the only win I could possibly see.
It's tough.
If it's the over assumptions of the dark powers. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Well, I think, and even that's a stretch,
Oh, it's super stretch. I mean,
if it goes to Gondor, you're going to lose, right?
Yeah. 1,000%. And that's also assuming that, like, they have the fun nature in them. They're like, hey, we could easily beat them, but let's just see this play out in a different way. I don't think they would. I think they would take their opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Because if it's like resting on, the edge, you're just going to, you're gonna take it. So. Yeah, I think it's going to lose every single time. I think the Hobbits, let's talk about the Hobbits really quick. I had a few notes on the Hobbits. Just the fact that I think now it gets very odd because Frodo has officially given up the ring. Mm-hmm. I think there's going to be a moment where Frodo's going to be like, what have I done?
Yeah.
Because now Boromir, remember how Boromir had the moment, was like, oh my gosh, Frodo, I'm so sorry, what have I done? I think the same thing's going to happen. Boromir's going to put on that ring. Frodo's going to be like, what have I done?
Yeah.
This was a moment of weakness.
But there's not much he can do to change it. Yeah.
No, but I think that's when maybe the Fellowship still remains, but now it's like the Fellowship that's trying to get Boromir before he goes to Gondor.
Yeah.
So now it's almost like this weird hunt for Boromir. But we get into this weird mode because Pippin and Merry were just taken. So, once again, who's expendable here? Do we get the ring before before it gets to Gondor? Do we go and try to save Merry and Pippin, but knowing that if we save them, they will, the ring's gone.
Yeah.
Well, so now it's this weird trolley problem
Yep.
that the group has to decide. I don't know. I think that'd be kind of a interesting, complex, but...
Well, it could just be a split where Gandalf takes the hobbits to try to. Well, he already lost to Saruman once. I don't know if he wants to go back there.
Yeah, he doesn't get his butt handed to him again. I mean, jeez. By the way, that's what goes to show. I know, first off, Lord of the Rings had a crazy big budget, but I will say, of the magic, that scene was still powerful, even though it kind of looked silly that they were just kind of moving their sticks in a certain way and it was kind of beating them up. But still, it was such a good, powerful scene. I do like that scene still.
Yeah.
I think this is where it's going to tear the Fellowship again. Because I think
they're going to have to. They're going to split.
Yeah. Aragorn is going to feel. I made sure to say Aragorn that time. Aragorn made it so he was like Isildur's Bane. Like this has been weighing on him. I think he's going after Boromir.
Oh, he has
1,000%.
Yeah, he's got to save what his ancestor.
Yeah.
Started. He's got to finish it.
I think Legolas and Gimli probably go for. I think they might go, hey, this is a human thing. I don't know if we want to get in the middle of this. We do have to save our fellowship. That seems to be the first immediate thing. I think they go and help Merry and Pippin. I think Sam and Frodo also. I think Sam and Frodo will probably go with Aragorn to fix their mistake.
I don't think so. I think they would go after Merry and Pippin. They would have.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a weird one.
Yeah,
I'm
family.
just trying to think who would separate it out. Yeah.
Well, it would be.
Well, because he could also feel so bad that he gave up the ring.
Yeah, but I think he would.
You think he would still resolve the Merry and Pippin?
I think so.
Well, because that's the whole point. He didn't even know Merry and Pippin were taken. Yeah, he didn't even know. Like in the movie,
that's true.
They didn't even know they were taken.
That's true. Well, they were at a different place. But if they regrouped, then they would have known.
Dude, oh my gosh, we're forgetting about the black sheep. We're forgetting about the wild card. Gollum's your baby.
Oh yeah, he is.
Does he get Boromir? You know what I mean? Now we have a weird battle. You know what I mean? Battle up.
Because he's going to follow Boromir now.
1,000%. He's got the ring.
He doesn't care about Frodo.
Yeah. Which I'm assuming like he's got like an internal like tracker. You know what I mean? Like senses, I feel like he's been so in touch with the ring for hundreds of years that surely he can kind of follow it. I think he's going after Boromir. So I think we're gonna get a weird like amalgamation of half the Fellowship or a small portion of the Fellowship going after Boromir. And, or maybe that's when he goes to the Riders of Rohan. Dude, that would even be wild. So Aragorn...
The
Rohirrim. Because he goes, you know what I mean? He's already got a head start on me. Even if I try to... Like, I can track him, but he's now got the most ultimate defense for a tracker, which is he can go pure invisible. Now, granted, in the movie, you can still see footsteps, so maybe arguably, he could still track the footsteps. But regardless... I think maybe he's going, okay, we just gotta muster the Rohirrim, go all the way back to Pelennor Fields and get to Gondor and basically say, just hold the line and make sure we find scouts and see if we can get Boromir before he goes. And I think that's going to also cause some conflicts too, because Gondor's going to be like,
you killed
what the heck?
The prince. You killed the prince. Why?
Yeah, or not even kill. I'm just saying they're searching for him.
Yeah.
But Gondor's gonna be like, "Whoa, what are you guys doing?" Because they're in the dark. They don't know.
Yeah.
So then it gets in this weird once again, end fighting is inevitable. End fighting is infighting. Sorry, not end fighting, but infighting is inevitable.
Yeah, the men are going to fight Rohan versus Gondor.
Yeah.
So I had a different tangent that ends with a wizard battle because I was just having fun with the timeline.
Oh, nice. No, I was so in deep with those. Those are my timelines. That's all. I'm exhausted.
So we're going back to.
I'm very excited to talk about this. I'm exhausted, as in my notes are exhausted.
Yes. We're going back to the Council of Elrond, and that's the side. Okay.
Oh, okay.
This is tangent there. Okay.
Council of Elrond, Boromir gets the ring.
Yes.
Cool.
So the other one we talked about, Boromir gets corrupted because in my timeline, he uses the ring. So I'm going to say he hasn't used the ring. He just wants to give it to his father. So it's easier for him to give it up because he hasn't put it on yet.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying.
The love of his country is greater than the corruption of the ring.
So, and then I said Denethor gets corrupted. He declares himself king.
We get that cool scene. Last flower. Yeah. Cool.
So here we are. Now, after that, I say either he decides to align himself with Saruman, or Saruman chooses to make him a puppet instead of Theoden.
Grimmer Wormtongue moves.
And he goes to Gondor. Or there's a Gondor version of Grima Wormtongue.
Yeah.
Because the reason Grima Wormtongue worked because he's from Rohan.
Yeah. And he also was in love with. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. But so
there's only 3 girls. Why can't I think of her name? Eowyn, Arwen.
Yeah. So it's Eowyn.
Yes. Yeah. I couldn't remember. You know what I mean?
So
I always get those two mixed up for whatever reason.
So here I have now Gondor and Isengard are
duking it out.
No, they're aligned. They're together.
I'm sorry.
They're
I'm sorry.
alliance.
The Grimmer Wormtail adjacent.
Wormtongue,
Yeah,
yeah.
Wormtongue adjacent.
So
there's a lot
Saruman,
of parallels. Yeah.
Saruman has control of Denethor now and Gondor effectively.
Oh yeah, that's so Rohan's getting pinched.
Correct. However,
We have a map. We can finally look
Yeah.
at what this is looking like.
yeah. So they can attack Rohan, say they win, or the might of Isengard and Gondor theoretically could be enough just to take on Mordor themselves.
Oh my gosh, you're playing chess now. I love it.
Yeah.
So you're saying that Saruman, after all this time, when he was like, "Hey, we literally aren't powerful enough. We can't beat him. But if we were to join forces, then we can take over Sauron."
Yes.
So you're saying if he has the might of Gondor and of, I keep saying Orthanc, that is the tower.
That's the tower in Isengard.
In Isengard.
With the
Isengard,
Uruk-hai,
With
which
the
are
Uruk-hai. Dude, that's cool.
So they defeat Mordor. We'll say that.
You're just saying they straight up do it. Okay.
Yeah. We'll just pretend, right? I mean, it'd be a lot harder than I'm making it sound, but let's say they do.
No. Cinematically. Yeah,
Barad-dûm's done.
Yeah. We might not have had the CGI budget for all those like peons to battle, but yeah. I see what you're saying.
Saruman then kills Denethor, and now Saruman takes the ring.
Oh, 1,000. Yeah.
And now he's in charge. Now, this is where we get to it. Big all-out wizard battle. Gandalf and Radagast have to go find the blue wizards, bring them back, and
Now
those
we're
four
talking.
together are the only four that can take down Saruman.
Gladrill's got to be. The elves
Oh, yeah.
Are you assuming they're there or are they out?
Yeah, they're there. Yeah,
Okay, cool,
but
cool, cool.
you need the strength of all four wizards as well.
Oh, 1,000%.
And so that, I don't know, that's kind of a fun.
But the funny thing is we're back to square one.
Oh, yeah, no, it's
Because then when they beat that, there's like, oh, what do we do with the ring?
Yeah, it's either if you want the men to fight or the wizards to fight. you
I
know?
would hope that maybe when he takes it over, would they stay in Mordor still? I don't know. But my point is that you'd hope that eventually the ring would do it. That was a good ring would, because then maybe Elrond's like, okay, I'm taking this for me. I'm going up to the thing. I'm going to throw it into the fire. I'm done with this. And maybe they have another Fellowship 2.0 that goes up to, Mordor and Mount Doom and takes the ring.
Yeah, because
I like that.
Yeah.
I really actually like that. I like the other stuff because it seems interesting, but I don't think they could make that into a movie because I think you just die. I think you lose every time.
Yeah.
But that one, there's actually a chance, and there's a lot of twists and turns with that one because I think it would be wild. Can you imagine like movie one still plays out everything, but then we get the whole corruption kind of at the very end of that. Then movie two, it's like all these powers are crazy. We go back to the race of men. Rohan is just like, oh my gosh, what do we do?
Yeah.
They're clearly corrupt. The elves are like, okay, I'm really piecing out. Maybe most of them go. I'm just thinking about it cinematically, movie wise, because then the big twist at the very end too would be no, we're together.
Yeah.
And then 3 is just basically Return of the King, but all out battle.
Yes.
Of the wizards and everything.
Yeah, like Gandalf's conflicted because Saruman's like, yeah, I'm trying to defeat Sauron too.
Yeah.
But he's like, you literally just said you were aligned with Sauron, And so now Gandalf's like, I don't trust you. But
it's classic Snape, double agent. What side do you trust at that time?
Exactly. But like Gandalf's not going to be like, I'm not against taking out Mordor, right? So like then he
so it's weird. It's like, wait, so the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yeah. So he's conflicted. He doesn't.
But you're aligned with my enemy. I don't know. I think we get back to the corkboard and red yarn, and it's like, what do you do?
Yeah, it's like Russia and the United States during World War II. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just standoff. Yeah. What do you do? So no, that's perfect. So do you have any other notes? I think Mark, I really like that last point. The Battle of the Wizards.
It'd be so cool, right?
I always try to bring Faramir in, and you're bringing in.
I just love the wizards. I just love them.
Yeah, they're so good. I love Faramir, so I was always trying to bring in Faramir. But then every single time I bring in Faramir, it just kind of goes the same way. There's still infighting. There might be a coup, but there's, no good outcome comes from it.
Yeah.
So, but with that being said, I think we should go right for a mix-up. You ready for that? This is going to be a classic, a real classic episode. What if in a mix-up?
I'm in.
Perfect.
Heck yeah.
So, let me do the prompts from our special little bucket. It's just a cauldron, but... Oh, Fight Night. Wow, we are going back to OG.
Yeah. So we are, as Tony mentioned to me before this podcast recording, We are officially recycling the what if themes, right, Tony?
The prompts.
Prompts.
So we still have a lot more characters.
But
the prompts were kind of out to
Yes.
So seriously, we are in such need of prompts. If you guys have anything out there, it'd be great. We also totally appreciate all the comments, it's really cool going up to people and they're like, oh, hey, I listen to your podcast. Or, oh, hey, I've forwarded my podcast to one of my coworkers and they're watching it. Like, it's just so amazing. And I can't believe how many listeners we already have. And just the overwhelming response of it has been absolutely fantastic. So we totally appreciate that. And I feel bad asking of anything, but if we could have more prompts, that'd be great.
Yes.
Yeah,
please, and thank you.
Yeah, please and thank you. Totally appreciate it. But yeah, so we're going back to OG Fight Night. So this is just a straight up battle v battle.
All right, you ready, Tony?
I'm totally ready. Who's fighter number 1?
Kreacher, the house elf.
Dang. I thought we already had him.
We had Winky before.
Oh, dude, that's hilarious. Okay. Fighter number 2.
Darth Malgus.
Dude, okay. All right, do you know who Darth Malgus is?
So I know he's a Sith Lord, so please go ahead and...
Big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Darth Malgus is historically... So you know how Anakin marched on to the Jedi Temple? Mm-hmm. Technically, Anakin was not the first quote-unquote Sith to do that. Darth Malgus did that. So way back when, he was in the High Republic.
Okay.
But Darth Malgus came in, and he's got a really cool backstory. This is still very much in our backlog. I love talking about philosophies of Sith. He's a really cool understanding of the Force. But the whole point is that Malgus is the classic. Like, you've probably seen him. He's got a mask over his nose, and he's got a Twi'lek partner who's kind of like this bounty hunter. Or not bounty hunter, but she's, like literally his partner. But they come in and with a bunch of the other Sith, take over the Jedi Temple. This is when the Sith didn't believe in the rule too. So this is before Bane.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we're
super old.
Yeah, well, we're way before Bane, right? So I think this is after Revan too, but I might be mixing that up. I think it is after Revan. I think it's like Revan, Malgus, Bane. But I'll have to look back at that. So I'm going to correct myself probably in the show notes. But my point is that Malgus went onto the Jedi Temple and he wrecked them. Like, really wrecked them. So that's Malgus. Okay. But you'll know him. He's got a huge long cape. He's a big dude and he's got a respirator on. If you saw a picture of him, you'd be like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And any cool, like, Instagram reel showing the attack of the Jedi Temple and there's just like 400 red lightsabers, that's Malgus.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Because they didn't have the fancy 501st or cloned army to take over the Jedi Temple.
Yeah.
They had to literally get Sith to do
Lord,
it.
Yeah.
So, so that's Malgus.
And then Kreacher is the Black family house elf in Harry Potter. So he belongs to Sirius Black in Order of the Phoenix. And then when he dies, that along with all his possessions go to Harry. So, but he's mean. He's a purebloodist. I guess what's the I can't remember what the exact term is, but the Black family was all careful.
Staunchly purebloods.
Yeah, pureblood wizards, and Sirius was the black sheep because he didn't care about that.
Yeah.
But Kreacher, because he grew up with that family, didn't like Hermione because she was Muggle-born, right? Mm-hmm. And thought the Weasleys were traitors and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was rough for him because, like he was very much alive when Sirius Black's mom was alive. Mm-hmm. And what would the mistress think? He constantly says that because this is so radical for him, but he has to serve
the House of Black.
So,
yeah.
And the fact that they're now HQ, and I don't know if he's particularly sympathetic to Voldemort. I don't think that's the case. I just think they're just purebloods.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just what it is.
Yeah.
So, those are the two. So, Mark, I know, dude, Malgus through and through. Like, he has a really cool backstory. I mean, I really like him. I
feel bad because I don't think there's much to argue here. I mean, house elves have a lot of power, but Darth Malgus just sounds like he's just OP. It's tough. It's tough for anyone to go up against him.
Yeah, and I think with Malgus in particular, it's so interesting because out of all the Siths, when I said that the Twi'lek was his partner, like, so technically, like, he shows her off as like a slave because there's like one of the conquering worlds that he went over and everything like that. But in reality, like, it's his actual partner. Like, they love each other, and it's a weird dynamic. A Sith literally loving. They wouldn't think you'd have time for it and everything like that. So that's why the philosophy of Sith is so important. So, like, the other thing, too, is he was a very big, like, to truly understand the Force, you always have to be in constant war. That's, like, war with yourself or war with, others. And that's what his war with himself, right? Mm-hmm. He loves this person, but he knows that the dark side requires all of his focus, all of his attention and everything.
Right.
But yet he loves this person. That's an internal war.
Yeah.
You know, he's just such a dynamic character. Now, I'm playing him up because I love him, and he's such a dynamic character, and I freaking love when evil people don't just wake up twirling their mustache, but they actually have, you know, real-world intentions that lead them to their decisions. So I love him. Power dynamic-wise, House Elves are so powerful. You have to ask yourself, as a Force wielder versus a just inherent magic user, that might be close to 1-to-1, but House Elves magic is...
It's different. I mean, yeah.
Granted, you could argue creature's not free, therefore, if Harry says, hey, you can't fight him, then technically this kind of all gets moot. Mm-hmm. But, I don't know. I feel like, power balancing-wise, I feel like creature would just, be overwhelming.
Yeah.
But at the same time, too, Malgus is super strong in the Force. I mean, he was able to unite everyone for an all-out attack. Yeah. Because there's still, by the way, the Sith still were a lot of infighting with the Sith, right? So to get 400 or whatever Sith to all attack one temple was a huge feat. Yeah. And this was like the first time they had kind of have a notion of like, whoa, this might be the leader. Like we might, we might be following this guy. So that's kind of an impressive feat. So I think just out of pure determination and I don't know, emotional complexities. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think Malgus is gonna win. Yeah. But
I'm gonna try to pull another one to see if we have one that's more on creatures.
Playing
field,
Or maybe what gets so hard is like when they go across the things like that, it gets difficult because like we've never seen a magic user with a Force user, right? That's why Fight Night's kind of tough sometimes when you go across, but
all right, Tony. Yeah, I think that's it.
Pretty interesting Fight Night. I think.
Right?
I kind of feel bad because it's just so different when they come from two different movies, right? Mm-hmm. Or two different franchises. It's kind of hard to power balance them. I truly believe that. I think Malgus has got it. I think you have a great point with Creature. Yeah. I think it'll be interesting. I think maybe one day what we should do, and we have the technology, right?
Yeah.
We have AI. I think we should just like either do it in a simulation. You ever see those simulation videos? Like Dinosaur Meals where it's like 100 chickens versus like a Roman soldier. How long would it take?
Yeah.
How many chickens does it take until a Roman soldier gets overwhelmed? I think we should do that with these characters. I don't know if they have the characters in there, but I'd be really curious to be like Creature versus Darth Malgus and just run a simulation and see what happens. And I think it'd be kind of cool.
I don't know if you remember, but back when we were kids, there was a show called Deadliest Warrior.
Yes.
And it's pretty much the same.
He was voiced by Faramir.
Was he?
Yeah, the Faramir actor voiced that.
Oh, nice. Okay.
It's got to be. Yeah, because they talked about the different things. Like if a Roman soldier fought against a Spartan.
And they literally tested the weapons and then they put it all into, AI of that time. Yeah. And it was really cool. It's like 100 Roman soldiers versus 100.
I'm going to triple check myself on that. I think it's exactly like that.
But what was it called again? Show. Deadliest Warrior, I'm pretty sure is what it was called.
Yes, it is.
Is it? Woo! Okay. Yeah.
I'm going to keep that in there. I think that's hilarious. Right. No. But yeah, that'd be kind of cool. We do the simulations. But yeah, for the most part, I think it'd be kind of fun if we do the fight nights and stuff. That'd be a little hard if it's like Daddy or Is It Daddy? I don't think there's any simulations out there.
I don't think so.
Or if there is, I don't want to see that simulation.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I think we'll just keep it a fight night. I think that'd be good.
I agree.
But
all right. Well, thanks for listening. Please reach out to us with questions, mix-ups, and what-if ideas. We really need them. Like we said, we have to repeat the prompts. Yeah. And our characters are getting low, too, so we need some of those as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Just if you're trying to figure out and say, hey, how do we reach you? Instagram or Twitter X at LiveLeftLorePod or email us at the liveleftlorepod@gmail.com. That's liveleftlorepod@gmail.com.
Thanks, guys.